Cool. Well, should we get started?
Yes.
We can. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today is Thursday, the 16th of November, 2023, and this is the Orange County, California Tableau User Group for Q4 2023. So thank you very much for joining us. We have a really great program coming up this afternoon, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. Before we get started, I just want to reintroduce Gemma Francisco and myself. We're your co-hosts for the TUG. You can find us both on Tableau Public or the forums or on LinkedIn. If you have any specific questions about the TUG or anything we talk about today, please feel free to contact us through the TUG page. There's a little contact us down the bottom, and we'd love to hear from you, basically. Okay, so on the agenda today, first, Gemma is going to kick us off with some community updates from around the Tableau multiverse. I'm going to be demoing a tip and or trick using parameters to store multiple variables at once. That should be pretty cool. Our guest speaker this afternoon is Karinna Spitalnick, who's joining us from Interworks with a talk called Asking Better Questions. I've seen a preview of her talk, and it's really good. I think it's going to be really relevant for pretty much everybody here. And for sure, you're going to take away something that you can use in your day-to-day. After Karinna, we'll take some time to share our OC Viz challenges. So Gemma and I have them. If you are watching us from online, we'll also give you the chance to present if you would like to. So get ready to volunteer if you want. And then we're going to wrap up the meeting with some reminders. And for those of you who are here in person, we have snacks, and it's going to be great. Right. So Gemma's going to get into the community updates in just a second, but I just wanted to take a moment to kind of remind you guys of why we're all here. Gemma and I are really aiming to make this TUG an inclusive community of enthusiasts where we can kind of grow and network together. And that means, among other things, that we want you guys to feel empowered to participate. So if you have an idea for a tip or trick, or you'd like to be a guest speaker, please reach out to me and Gemma. We want this to be a forum where everybody can come and learn from each other, but also to share your knowledge, and if it's right for you, to also grow as a speaker and have the opportunity to. So please reach out to us, get involved, and come see us in person too. Right, on to Gemma for some community updates.
Hey, everybody. So the first update really quickly is that a reminder that Tableau conference will be in San Diego, which is just right around the corner, or maybe an hour south, at the end of April. If you're not familiar, it's a 3-day event where people come from all over the world to immerse themselves in everything Tableau. There will be new cool features. There will be top panels from all kinds of industry leaders, Iron Viz. There'll be Tableau doctors, which can help you diagnose and maybe cure your problems. It's a whole thing. Tickets haven't quite gone on sale yet, but you can save the date or sign up for updates. Also, there's a possibility that your employer might help you with some of the costs. It would be a great time to let them know and float the idea past them, and maybe they can build it into their budget next year. That's kind of what I did. Next up is that the Tableau plus IMDb Viz challenge, Viz campaign is up. This is a partnership between Tableau and IMDb to put up a subset of IMDb's great movie data online for folks to create their own Vizes and share them.
Oh, can I interject?
Ooh.
Because this data set is actually really good because it's done in conjunction with IMDb, which if you've ever tried to get data off of IMDb can be a total pain. So if nothing else, participate in the challenge for the data set. So yeah, it's good. Sorry.
Oh yeah. You can, I put a link on this slide so you can, when we distribute it, go check it out. Learn how to use the starter kit. That you can even earn a free t-shirt with busy movie data. I'm curious what the t-shirt looks like. I've already seen a few Vizes get published, which I think is amazing because the challenge just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still in the mode of doing research and watching movies and thinking about doing the challenge, if I'm being honest, but I will also get onto
Can
it.
you do it with Tableau Public?
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, you should do it with Tableau
Yeah.
Public. You should save your stuff there, and there's a hashtag too.
Cool. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. This. Okay. Cool. Next up, the 2024 Iron Viz feeder round just finished recently. It's kind of a wonderful time of year because Tableau Public is now full of new content. And it's all about, the theme was love. So it's all about topics that people felt passionate about and loved and want to share with other people. I think it's really cool because in a way it helps you learn more about the person behind the Viz, as well as seeing whatever clever insights they came up with. Also, while the deadline has passed for this beta round, it's never too late to practice and get ready for next time. So if that's of interest to you, there's an Iron Quest Viz challenge where you can practice doing Iron Viz type Vizes and also get feedback from 3 amazing Tableau visionaries. So if that's of interest to you, I checked in the past to see when their challenges come out, and I think we can expect another one in the next few months. So keep an eye out for that. For the last bit of news, last quarter, the 2023 Tableau ambassadors were announced. These are people that Tableau recognizes for their skill and also their commitment and what they've done for the community. So I think these are people that volunteer. They have an emphasis on helping people learn and improve their own skill sets. I think I put a link here so that you can get to know the ambassadors and enjoy.
All right, we're going to move on to the tip and/or trick, which I have to figure out how to share my screen appropriately. So let's see what we can do. Not sharing that. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a tip about how to use a single parameter to store multiple values at once. I will show you an example of this in a second, but I do want to just say before I start that this is a little bit of an advanced tip. I'm going to focus on the parameter actions part of it, but there's also going to be a little bit of spatial analytics in there and a little bit of text parsing. If I lose you at any point in there, then don't worry, because like I said at the beginning, we're going to record this and you should be able to find the video back on the event page afterwards. So just kind of try and follow along, right? Let me... I'm just going to show you the end result first, and then I will show you how to do it. So you can find this dashboard on my Tableau Public. It's called Multi-Select Parameters, and it's just demonstrating what I'm talking about. So I wanted to create a way that users could use a single click to select multiple items and have Tableau keep that data, and so you can compare things or use those values later. So it's similar to how you would do like a set action or some other kind of filter action, except that you kind of retain the data that's there. And it's just like, for example, comparing 2 specific products, right? So you can, right now I'm comparing these 2 products. It won't let me select anything else. And then if I want to compare 2 different ones, then I can clear that and do it again, right? The advanced part of this, which you may have seen if you follow me on LinkedIn, was that you can actually link a whole bunch of things together. together with some spatial analytics, and have your users pick out a path that it calculates the total distance of. Okay. So how do we do this? First question is, how do I share my Tableau screen? Bear with me for just 1 second. Okay. Share. Okay. It will come up in just a second. It's going to take. Okay. All right. Hopefully, we'll be able to see tooltips and windows as they come up. Somebody give me a shout if anything gets stuck. Great. So what we want to do, I just put together, this is from the Superstore data set, so you can use this one to practice if you want to. But the gist of what we're going to do is we're going to set up a parameter, and then we're going to use a calculated field to tell Tableau what to put in that parameter, and some other stuff as well. And you'll see as we go along. So the first step to doing this is we're going to set up a parameter. We're going to say 2 products. This needs to be a string parameter, and we're going to set it up with a value that is empty to begin with. What this will look like is I'm going to restrict it to only 2 products, and it's going to be product name 1 with a pipe delimiter and product name 2. That is so that when I want to say product 1, I can use the split function to grab what the value is of product number 1. So there's split 2 products and 1. And if we duplicate that, edit it, product 2. Okay. Both of these are empty right now, and it's very boring. What we now need to do is set up a calculated field that's going to tell Tableau what to put in the parameter for you. Basically, with parameter actions, when you click on something, it passes something that's in the detail of the current view into the parameter, and we can specify what that is. So we're going to create a calculated field called, let's say, I can't spell, next TP for 2 products value. Now, if there's nothing in the value, the parameter right now, we're just going to put in the product name. So if product 1 is blank, then we're just going to make the parameter be product name. If product 2 is blank, or sorry, if product 2 is not blank, that is, it's already filled with something, we don't want the parameter to change. We just want to keep it the same. So we're going to do, if product 2 is not equal to blank, then we're just going to do whatever's there, 2 products. And then every other case, we're just going to take whatever's in the parameter currently, add a pipe delimiter, and then add the product name. So it'll be 2 products plus product name. And then we're going to add that as a detail to our scatter plot here. Okay. Let's look at a dashboard really quick that's real basic. That'll just kind of show you how this should be working. So I'll pull the scatter plot on here, make it a little bit bigger. I'm also going to pull in the parameter and, oh God, loading. Sorry, we run into my nemesis, the tiled container. Anyway, okay, so right now that parameter is empty. If we click on one thing, oh, we didn't do a dashboard action. Hold up. All right. So we've got the scatter plot. We've worked out what the next parameter should be, but now we actually need to do the dashboard action. It's very important. So dashboard action. So this is a change parameter action. It's going to be on the scatter plot. Let's say add product. It's on the scatter plot on select. The target parameter is 2 products, and the value that we want to pass is next TP value. Clearing the selection is going to keep the current value. So it just saves everything where it is. Okay. And then click OK. So if I do that, you can see that it's added it to the parameter up here. And if I click on the next one, it's added it to the parameter up there. And if I keep clicking other things, it does not add it to the parameter. Okay. I am going to do one quick trick really quick so that we can see it better. And I'll explain this more at the end if you guys want. If you've ever done the highlight blank trick, it's real handy. You can use a dashboard action to highlight blanks on the details of things, and it means that the rest of your things don't go gray when you're selecting things. So we're going to do select and scatter and highlight. Let's hope this works.
So that's your patch?
Yeah. It basically just it just makes it so that when you click something, it doesn't gray everything else out. I use it all the time in my business, especially if you've got some interactivity like this. Anyway, that's not the tip or trick. So here's the thing. We got here. How do we then clear the products out of there? What we can do is create a button that does the same thing. It's a different dashboard action, but it basically passes a blank value to that parameter. So I'm going to create a new sheet that is just a text mark that says, whoa, products. There we go. Entire view, let's center that. This is like making a fake button, right? And I'm going to put that blank on detail. So now when we come back over here, if I put sheet 2 in here, get rid of that title because we don't need it. I have a button here. I'm going to put a border around it. And oops. Now I'm going to make another dashboard action that clears it. So change parameter again. Clear products. This is on sheet 2. Select the target parameter again is 2 products, but the source field this time is the blank. We're going to overwrite whatever's in there with a blank and click OK and OK again. Now, when we click on clear products, ta-da, the 2 products parameter has cleared out. So I can do select 1 product, select 2 products, and then clear the products. Okay. You can do other fun things with that to make it because you've got what the product 1 and product 2 is, you can do other fun things like making it be a different color or something like that. If you recall back to the dashboard that I showed at the beginning, I actually made them different colors, different sizes, and I made them a different shape too. So that it just really makes them pop out, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so I'm going to pause there. How are we doing for time? And see if we have any questions, because then I'm going to move on and show you how to do the map part, which is it's using the same concept, but the next level up. Okay. Right, so if we want to do this on a map where we build, I'm actually just going to build it, I think, with 3 cities, because 5 is a lot of typing for me, and I don't think anybody wants to watch me do that. So we are basically going to create a map of Orange County cities and have people pick them out in the order that they want and calculate the distance. So first I have to make a spatial point for my cities. Sorry, I should have done that earlier. So again, I'm going to do the same thing to start. I'm going to do a parameter called up. Let's call up to 3 cities. Again, it's a string, and the starting value is just blank. Then you've got calculated fields, which are city 1, which is split 2, 3 cities. The delimiter, not that delimiter, that one, 1. And do the same thing for city 2. Okay, and for city 3. Then the logic for that calculated field that you're going to pass to the parameter is exactly the same. So we're going to call it next to 3 value. If city 1 is blank, so there's nothing in there, then we're just going to add the city name. Else, if city 3, so the last one does have something in it, that means it's full, so we're just going to leave it the same. And anything else is going to be up to 3 cities plus the height plus the city name. So to get this onto a map, where's my city point? Please work. All right, let's put a county border, because why would you go outside of Orange County? All right. Right. These are all your cities. You want the city name on detail so it knows what to pass. And then we're also going to put on detail this next UT3C value. I'm also going to stick a blank on there for good measure. Okay, so same thing as before. We can bring the map out here, and we can add the up to 3 cities parameter and the dashboard action. It's going to be change parameter. Map on select, target parameter this time is up to 3 cities. The source field is next up to 3 cities value, and keep the current value. Okay. We're also going to do highlight blank on the map, which is highlight the map on select and selected field just the blank, and click OK. And we should be able to now have up to 3 cities here. So Fountain Valley, Tustin, and Yorba Linda are the winners today. Great. Same thing again, we also want to be able to clear that off. So let's call those clear cities. Do a text mark called clear cities. Make it the entire view and center it. I do this all the time, by the way, making fake buttons. It's one of my favorite things. I use it on like every single dashboard that I do. Let's pop that over there. Order. And then we're going to do, again, the same dashboard action. So right now, you guys are probably really bored because you've watched me do exactly the same thing twice. Bring on clear cities, on select, parameters, and oops, I forgot to put the blank on there. There we go. Now, hopefully, there we go. So, so now you can select what other 3 cities you want, and they can clear it, and you're good. But now we want to calculate the total distance. So how do we do that? We use some spatial analytics. I'm going to go back to my map over here. The first thing we need to do is create some spatial points for the cities that we've selected, which I don't know why it's decided that some of these are spatial points, because I really don't want them to be. I'll leave them as it is. Spatial city one, which is make point. If city is equal to city one, then it's going to be latitude. Otherwise, it's going to be null. And lon is if city is equal to city one, then it's longitude. Otherwise, it's null. I feel like I'm forgetting a step, so hopefully I'm not. Let's see what happens. City two, it's two. From there, you can actually create lines. So you could create a new calculated field and call a city line 1, 2, which is make line from city 1 to city 2. And oops. I feel like I'm forgetting a step, but I can't remember what it is. So now you can actually add the city lines as additional map layers. I hope. There you go. There's nothing at the moment because there's nothing in the parameter. But if we click there and then we click there, and then we click there, and they're not showing up. So I must have done something wrong there. I'll have to open up the other one and show you what that is. Probably I got my spatial points wrong because they're, I think I need minimums actually. Let me try one thing. Oh, that's always good. Where did I go? Oh, because spatial 2. The old, you can't mix aggregate and non-aggregate measures at the same time. That's my favorite.
That's my nemesis. That's totally my nemesis.
As the one thing that I wish that Tableau did better. Okay, there are many things that I wish that Tableau did better. One thing that I wish Tableau did better was indicate on the pill somehow whether what you're looking at is aggregate or non-aggregate. So I've apparently broken my map and I don't know how to fix that. So I apologize. Let me see if I can open this. What? Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to skip ahead and just to let you know that because I've messed up something with my spatial, so that's great. The next step from here is actually to just measure the length of each of those city lines and then put them together. So if you're comfortable already doing spatial analysis in Tableau, you'll have no problem at all doing this. The key really is what we did with the dashboard actions, where you're able to hold multiple things into one parameter. You can do it up to however much you want, but it does obviously get more complicated as you go. And before I leave this demo, I do just want to share one last thing. Hang on. I think it is. Where this technique gets really powerful is that because you are telling Tableau what you want to put in the next version of the parameter, you can actually intervene and do more advanced calculations in there. So one of the options here is to do the path order alphabetically. So if you select any 5 cities here, what it's doing is it's dynamically reordering them inside of the parameter so that they go in alphabetical order. So I can't think of why you would want to go on a trip alphabetically through cities, but if you did, you could know how long it would take you to get there. And that's because you are intervening in the calculated field that goes into the parameter. So that is it. That is the tip and or trick. Sorry, it ran a little bit long and also didn't work. However, this workbook is available on the Tableau Public. You can download it and play with it for yourself and see if you can figure out how I did the alphabetical stuff.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a really cool tip.
I'm glad you like it. Right. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. And, right. So next up, we have our guest speaker, Karinna Spitalnick. Karinna, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm figuring out how to share real quick. Okay, here we go. Share
Cool.
to.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for Karinna's presentation. She gave us a quick run through of it last week, and both Gemma and I were sitting there going, we want it now. So I hope you guys really enjoy it. This is Karinna Spitalnick from Interworks, and Karinna, take it away.
Thanks. And I'm going to try to make this as interactive as I possibly can. So I'm going to actually ask you real questions, and you guys can either come off mute in the room or put it in the chat. I'll do my best to look over there. But so I'm Karinna Spitalnick. I work at Interworks. We are a tech consulting company. I've been in the field of data about 5 years, but I did not start in the field of data, and I will tell that story in a minute. But what I want you to do in the chat window right now, since we're also a small group, put just your home base, your industry role, and then what is your current coffee shop order? And I'm going to put that in the window as well.
No, I can't. Can somebody put it in the window?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, what do you want?
Gemma. I'll put mine first, and then what's the middle question?
Your industry role,
Industry.
your home base, industry role, and then current coffee shop order.
I can do yours. What do you
Yes.
want to?
So it's
Coffee shop order.
Downey, California.
Yeah, home of the first McDonald's and the historically restored Bob's Big Boy, which I need to go to both.
When you go, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. That and the home base of the singer of Metallica. That's where he was born.
Oh, super cool.
No, yeah. So Downey, I'm director of BI, and then my coffee order right now is Café de la Olla,
Marketing.
which is cinnamon tea.
How do you pronounce that?
Café.
Nice.
So CAFE.
Yeah.
And
Chris from Earth.
and Olla OLLA.
I can't spell.
Okay.
Is that right?
We get the idea.
Okay.
Perfect. You did great.
One L.
Yeah, so I'm the lone LA person that gets invited and honored to be here.
Humberto.
Nice.
Where are you from?
Director of Ailment. Oh, someone here is from NYC.
Location in
Irvine, yeah.
Irvine. Yeah. I keep forgetting. What is your industry role?
I'm automotive.
Yeah.
I signed up. I should show up if there's a list.
And
Yeah,
your-
there probably is. We can't see it right now.
what's your current coffee order?
Coffee order. Do you not drink coffee?
Oh, you actually already.
Yeah, I'm asking.
It's a coffee shop order. I drink coffee.
order.
So it could be hot chocolate. It could be a whiskey. I don't know.
Oh, nice. Nice choice.
Something sweet.
I thought it was a trick question.
No,
So-
no, no.
No.
She was trying to capture like our soul. Like,
I was like,
I'll turn this volume up.
Yeah, we can hear you guys. Well, thanks for being here. I see we have most people from California, a couple, somebody from New York. So welcome. You're on East Coast with me. I'm also in Atlanta. So it's evening and everybody in my house is politely being quiet. So I could do this even though I said I have headphones on. And since this is all about asking questions, and I know we were listening to a presentation, we're going to do a quick 20 questions. Okay. If you don't remember this game when you're younger, you have 20. We're going to stick with 10 here just to keep it short. And you're going to guess. I'm giving you a category. So I'm a huge Marvel and Disney fan. So it's a superhero. It's specifically Marvel. You can only ask me questions that I can answer yes, no to. So you have 10 questions. Try to guess who the superhero is that I'm thinking of. And people in chat, you can also add yours in there.
I forgot. I know.
You know, I don't know.
Oh yeah, Alison might know because I did a quick preview, and I was like, I don't think you guys can.
I mentally blocked it out so I could be present, but I also don't. Do you want me to be the first person to ask the question?
Sure. Did they star in their own movie? Says Arlene. Yes.
Are they a male person?
No.
Okay.
It's 2.
We have questions in the room.
Is she one of the originals?
Yes.
Is she in a movie recently released last weekend?
No.
Okay.
Is she an Is she after some type of arachnid?
No. Oh wait, yes. Like arachnid. Wait, I was thinking Spider-Man. I was like, no.
No.
Yes. Do you have a guess? I think you guys know who this is.
Yes, Black Widow.
Yes. Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. Way to go. I think we got it in 4 questions.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So this presentation is all about asking better questions. That's the title. And these next couple slides, I'm going to kind of go through them quickly, but I'm going to give this presentation deck to Alison and Gemma so they can share it with you later. Because I thought this would be more of a talking point here, but I want to get to the meat of the presentation. So we at Interworks, we're technology consultants. My expertise is in dashboard design. I also do a little bit of data modeling, but mostly Tableau is my focus. Like I help customers build better dashboards. But that starts with the questions I ask on the front end. And it also starts with characteristics of questions and then sort of categories of questions. So I'm going to talk about both, but the first question I'm going to answer is like, what makes a strong question? So we at Interworks think there's kind of 4 parts to that. It's having personal questions. And what we mean by personal isn't like probing into people's work life and their managers and what's going on, but asking low risk, inviting questions, one, so you get to know the people you're working with, right? So asking your coffee shop order, no one's afraid to answer that question. And they're thinking, oh, maybe next time we have a meeting, they'll bring my favorite coffee. And that'll be great. Like it's getting to know the people. So we want questions to be personal. We want them to be specific. Specific can be setting a time frame. It can be from a category or a feeling. So 20 questions, I kind of gave you a specific like category to ask me about. If I just said any superhero from all time, the game would have probably lasted much longer. We also think that they should be within a context. So making sure you're sticking to a topic at hand or helping bring about honest responses is important if you're on a project or on an account and you're trying to really understand, what's going on with that client or customer. So just an example, last week I'm working with our enablement lead. We're sort of doing an internal collaboration and she was getting frustrated that our sort of anticipated timeline kept getting pushed to where now we're not going to be really rolling things out till January. And so I made sure at the next check-in, I said, what's one thing you would like us to make progress on over the next 2 weeks? We're all rolling into the holidays, and it was a very specific way to say, let's prioritize a task that we will feel accomplished at the end of those 2 weeks. And then the last thing, we think questions should be progressively complex. So as you get to know clients or people you're working with on your team or a project, you're building on what you remember their answers are. You're building on going more in depth. The key here is listening, right? Being able to really hear what your end user has to say, take time to synthesize. But our goal of asking questions in data visualization is like to get to the heart of the matter, right? To get to a problem, maybe pinpoint it, and then start exploring solutions. So this is a quick slide about Interworks. We have been a consulting company since the 90s, but we started off with asking questions. Our founder, Bayfar, was still a college student at OSU when he said, how can I help schools get internet access in the 90s? That was a very simple question. And he ended up starting the company by actually laying down internet lines in schools. Our name Interworks comes from internet and networks put together, Interworks. Since then, we've branched out from IT. We're now at full service solutions, and we are a global partner of Interworks and Tableau and Salesforce since the beginning of Tableau. So we have a lot of people who go way back on the Tableau side. They knew the data doctors, the Tableau doctors, before they were doctors. So to kind of prepare for this presentation, I wanted this to be broad, so we wouldn't just talk about dashboard development questions, but questions in general that we ask in the whole life cycle of analytics. So I gathered some of our best people in Interworks, all different areas, and I said, can we just reply to the prompt, where did good questions get us? And that group collectively helped me craft this presentation. So it isn't just me, data consultant, doing dashboards, but kind of a bigger picture Interworks advice. So our 3 topics we're going to go through today are based on that wresponse. But I just kind of want to know, like, you guys showed up, you said, hey, this is about asking better questions. So in the chat window, or you can come off mute, what areas do you find yourself asking questions in your day-to-day role? What are some key things maybe that you are looking to gain from this presentation?
I'm always asking how people are going to use my dashboards downstream. Like, how does what I'm doing fit into your process?
Arlene says client discovery. Okay. Arlene, do you mean client discovery as in like learning about your client and what they need?
For me, it's about what are the client-facing priorities.
That's a good one.
Okay. They want a product. Okay.
I don't know why I'm blinking.
That's okay. You might mull on that as I'm talking today, and we can come back to that too at the end. But
To me, it's also what are the things that the team can see internally to help them improve, get to like our key performance indicator. So for me, one of the bigger questions is like, what do we need to do internally so that we can actually have a system that gets us to that point versus us looking at the point and going back and saying, why didn't you get the point?
Gotcha.
So what can we do internally to help you succeed?
Yeah, I think all I can come up with right now is like, what are the values that we're trying to capture?
Which date do you want to use? Is the one that comes up all the time.
What date field do you need?
When?
Oh gosh.
Mean by when?
And is that date field in the data set? That's
Right.
I was just having to do a merge with two separate date fields, one at the day level, one at the month level, and they're like, oh gosh, it was a nightmare. But yeah, feel your pain. So yeah, I think so. My background's in education. I actually have a PhD in art education. I did not start out in data analytics, although I found it because of getting my PhD. So I was working as a teacher and doing research, and all the ways I had to share this very complex research I was doing were very flat and very boring and very like, here's your chart, here's your stats. And my brother actually showed me Tableau. He went to a Tableau conference and got super pumped about it and came home and was like, look at this dashboard. And I was like, what the heck is a dashboard? You know, I'm in education. Any data I saw was in a book, was in an article, paper. I mean, educators are way behind as far as how they share their data. They're getting better. And I was in awe of the tool. And this was probably Tableau 9.1 that he showed me because I started on 10.1. And we could click, we could interact. Suddenly the data came to life. And that's what got me thinking like, ooh, these are skills I have. These are things I'm good at. I am good at doing math and understanding research and understanding statistics. And I'm great at art. so I understand how to visually represent things. So Tableau is a really easy transition for me, actually. And that's how I got into data and then got into consulting at Interworks. So the question I asked was like, what else can I do with these skills? And I found this book, where I've been reading this book that's called Questions Are the Answer. And it's a very interesting take on how we ask questions. So the topics I'm going to talk about today, I said I've gathered some Interworks people. We think these are the three main categories in the data sort of life cycle, and also working with people on our teams. So it's putting people first, asking questions that get to the heart of the matter, and then questions in the weeds. So it's going to be a little more specific about that process and like dashboard area. What will keep people using my dashboard a year from now? Oh, good question, Chris. Is it dynamic enough? Yes. We will touch on that a little bit. So people first. If you've ever attended any of our webinars at Interworks, Jenny Parnell is our marketing director, and she asks questions before, during, and after the webinar. Sometimes they're just in the form of a poll or a chat. Sometimes we'll do a survey after the webinar. But all of these are focused on us learning who our audience is and how we can best serve you. So what she does is she compiles all these responses, and now she can run them through an AI-generated simulator or AI summary generator, like the one you can put text in, so that she can see, oh, people are talking about these 5 things as their pain points, so we should do a webinar about that. It helps us develop and like drive content to what our clients need. So these types of questions help us get to know our clients and our users. We're going to call them curiosity questions, because these are questions you ask that are specific but inviting, and they're helping you get to know the people, and that helps you get to know the problem. So I'm also going to touch on like the added asking questions. I think our digital world has made this a little bit trickier, but knowing how you're approaching this type of questioning can help you do it better. So when you're asking curiosity questions, getting to know your clients, you want to be attentive. So be on camera, let people see you. Even if you don't see them, I always invite people, hey, can we get on camera this first meeting so I can meet you face to face? Having eye contact, having open arms. It's such a small thing, but having body language where your arms are crossed or you're kind of hunched back doesn't invite people to approach you. Making sure you're leaning in. You know, even on camera, you can do a lean in. I'm kind of doing it now only because I'm a teacher and I'm like trying to get close to the people I'm talking to, even though you're a country away. We want to be responsive in these types of questions. So pause, process what's being said. You don't have to jump to the next question right away. We want to make sure we're empathetic. So listening for that person's tone, watching their body language. One big thing that I've tried to do, especially in virtual, getting to know clients virtually, is asking them to eliminate distractions. So typically on a call, I'll start with some chit chat and start with a question like the coffee question. And then if I know that they're busy, or if they're on camera and you see that they're looking away or they're down here, their head's down, you can say, hey, I'm going to take some notes. So I might pause and look away for a minute. But if you seem distracted today, I'd invite you to close out the distractions so we can make the best use of our time. And just saying that lets them know you're valuing their time. You want to hear what they have to say, and you're going to be attentive the entire time. And taking that little minute to do that, I found that I get much better answers out of clients when I say we're going to be efficient with our time. That means I'm paying attention to you and you're paying attention. I mean, I don't say it like that, but doing the invite. Laura has a nice thing. She said we call that clearing the space. It does make worlds of difference. Yeah. And then being inviting. Consider how others might interpret your questions. So I actually had a different game I wanted to play at the beginning, and somebody mentioned to me it was a little too. It could have had some questions that were more judging people by their looks. We were going to play the old-fashioned guess who, and I was like, yeah, that's not very inviting. I don't want to do that. Let's do something really easy. And we came up with the other idea. So making sure you're not asking questions that are maybe too gender specific or too much assuming based on that person's role in the org, or making sure they're feeling comfortable replying in front of the audience. So if it's just one-on-one, that's much easier. If you're talking with people in front of their bosses, maybe they won't answer that question in person. So some quick examples of this. As a trainer, I used to train for Tableau, and so I'd ask a lot of questions to get people like in the room getting to know each other, especially on public classes. So guilty pleasure TV show, fast food chain, those are more like personal, let's just icebreaker. But more specific, when you get to know a client and you're just starting to work with them, is asking some specific questions like, we've all been on a call and they go, oh, how's everyone doing today? Everyone goes, fine, good. If you're more specific, just a little bit, and you say, instead of how are you today, what's on your mind? Or what's one thing on your mind today? Or what's one thing on your mind today about this project timeline? Now you're asking a very specific question that you will get a specific response to, and they can't just answer good, right? You're inviting a specific reply. So this is my llama takeaway. He's very curious. This is my curious picture. So curiosity questions help establish trust and help you learn the dynamics of a team. I have to remember that people are behind every part of the data lifecycle. And so taking time to know your client or your stakeholder or your audience helps you discern when and how to ask the harder questions. So taking time to get to know them first will kind of help you in the long run. All right, next quick section, heart of the matter. So I'm going to tell a little story here, and I'm going to leave this picture up because it's a little bit longer story. But in 2020, I worked on COVID data along with a lot of other analysts, both on the disease side and on the vaccine side. So one great example of asking questions to get to the heart of the matter was I was working with the state of Hawaii on their vaccination dashboards. And this one is from their public page. It's a little different than the one I designed. It's still they kept my color palettes and my basic design. They've had to upgrade it to add a lot of data, but this was my baby. So this is my baby as a teenager, I guess. But when we started the account, we said, how can we help? What do you need? And they were very specific. They said, we need public-facing dashboards to share vaccination rates to the state. Okay, cool. What else? Well, we need a server that can handle the data and is secure. Great. What else? We need a tool that allows us to combine public data from the pharmacies, data from the government bases in Hawaii, because they didn't have a centralized vaccine repository yet. Okay. What else do you need? We'll need to exclude any PII, and it needs to be updated daily. Okay, pretty long list, right? We said, great. Is there anything else we need to know before we start on those requirements? Because we were actually building them a server as well. And the lead epidemiologist is in the room, and he's like, yeah, well, we have internal dashboards, and I made them, and they're not very good, but we use them for our leaders and, before they go public. But that can come later. And so I paused. I said, can you elaborate on that? And he's like, well, my biggest task is like every morning I am making these sheets and I'm screenshotting them and I'm sticking them in an email. And then once the leaders approve it, we can push it out to go. They were using actually Tableau Public at first to share their data. He's like, yeah, they're pretty basic, but we don't need to worry about that now. I said, well, that sounds like your internal process for approval. He's like, yeah, it's not the best. I said, all right, well, this sounds like this is a priority, because if all these leaders have to approve the data and the dashboards before it goes to the public, why would I build a public dashboard first if this is the way you have to share it? Like screenshotting and putting in an email every day. And this is the lead epidemiologist. Like his brain is way too big to be doing this nonsense every day, right? Like he's wasting his time. And I said, if you can share these with me, we can build a dashboard that sort of works like a slideshow where we stick the main charts slide by slide. we can have your leaders subscribe to this dashboard via Tableau server, and they will get an email every morning with screenshots of this dashboard. And he was like, what? You can subscribe? I mean, they had no idea. They had barely been using Tableau for like 6 months. So I said, yes, we can get this going like within a week for you. So needless to say, our client came in thinking they had an idea what their solution would be. And they did. They had a long list. I mean, they had a long list of shopping items that we had to get cracking on. But by asking that discussion, we listened, we took notes, but we kept kind of probing with the what else, what else. We didn't ask it quite like that, right? It was a longer meeting, but we kept asking what else again. And that turned out to be the critical piece before all the other things. So we ended the conversation that day with how we could immediately add value to this client. How could we get them off the ground, get them using their talents a little bit better internally? And it made us work on something before the server was built. Oh, bye, Chris. Catch you on the recording side. So you guys probably remember the Tootsie Roll Pop commercial if you're within my age bracket. It's how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop? And this is exactly what these questions are for. We call them exploratory questions. So how long does it take to get to be the center? This is exactly what you're doing in this phase of questioning. You are trying to get to the center. You're trying to ask questions to help you gain insights. And these could be insights into the past, the present, or the future perspective. So that's what I think we struggle with a little bit in data, especially with me. I want to get right to the problem. I want to get right to the solution, right? I want to jump ahead. What can I build you that helps your life? So we kind of look to the future right away instead of saying, well, what have you done in the past that worked or didn't work? Or what are you doing today that's you're still checking on a calculator, right? Like those types of things really help you peel apart, that wrapper and start getting to the middle of that. So these types of questions are, you want to stay inquisitive. You want to make sure that your end user doesn't feel judged. So I didn't say, wow, you're copying pasting in an email? What is this, 2000? I didn't tease him about it. Now someone else on the team was kind of like, yeah, he has interns that could do that. But not judgmental. You just want to keep asking questions. You're not there to figure out why they messed up or why. For me, as a consultant, they called us in because they want our outside opinion. And that means I have to ask a lot of questions about what's going on in the current and past situation. This is listening to keywords and also listening to tone. So I could see that this lead epidemiologist was frustrated with having to do this task every day. And right away, I was like, how can I help him immediately? And I knew there was a solution. So listening to keywords, listening to tone, and then also paraphrasing back. I had to say, it sounds like this is your internal approval process. Is that correct? He's like, yeah, it's not the best. It's like, okay, well, let's start from there. So a couple examples. It's good to have well-crafted questions in your back pocket. When it comes to questions like this, I turn to Carl Redette, one of our go-to-market strategists. He also happens to be my brother. So we talk a lot about data at family events and things. But he offered some of these for me to share. One of the main ones, what business outcome do you hope to achieve? I really like the second one, though. What happens if we don't try this? So again, thinking about future and past state. If we don't build this new dashboard, if we don't make this new data model, what happens? And letting the people speak about, well, where are they stuck and where do they want to see themselves? So the idea is you're also trying to gain consensus. So as you're asking these bigger picture questions, you're hoping that your stakeholders start to agree on what is the one big problem we're trying to fix, or where do we want to be in 6 months and how can we get there? Right. Curiosity Llama says, don't be afraid of asking too many questions. There's value in reaching the core. All right, last section, and this is probably the one that I spend most of my day in, and probably you do too if you're developers, and that's in the weeds. So I know I asked you at the beginning, and I'm going to kind of skip over the sharing right now, just so I know we're on like a 15-minute time crunch. So dashboard development, I think for me, asking questions that are specific but are about actionable steps is where I get the most progress. I don't know if anybody agrees with this. You can just thumbs up in the chat or whatever emoji you feel like responding. But I've been working on projects where there's been very vague requirements, or people say annoying things like, just show me the numbers, or we just need to see X metric, or the dreaded, can't you just replicate the spreadsheet in Tableau? Right? Ever hear that? Hopefully not, but maybe you still do. I know I do. So actionable questions. Gemma, the sweating emoji. Oh gosh. I have a good story about it in a minute. Hopefully actionable questions can help you get like honest and helpful critique in those stages. Can I export to Excel? Oh yes. Can I download this report and just play with it myself? You're like, I gave you buttons to play with it yourself. So instead of like broader questions we ask during scoping, these actionable questions are specific, usually by a category, and then allow for a variety of responses. So when I'm even in dashboard development, I will sometimes send out quick surveys, multiple choice, range of agreement questions. So agree, disagree, strongly disagree. And then timed responses. If I'm actually in a meeting, critique midway through dashboard development with my stakeholders, I might say, hey, you got 1 minute. What's working well? What do you want to change? And you got 1 minute to answer. And then when you're done, you're done. And that can really get to the heart of what people need. So actionable questions, we are focused on solutioning. We're trying to be iterative. So letting people know this isn't the end. We can keep moving and changing, evolving. Making sure there's specific categories that you're asking questions about, and then having a variety of responses available. So again, letting people write it down, reply in a survey, do a quick poll, always helpful. So this is a fun. I'm going to tell a fun story about this, and then we'll jump through the next couple. So I'm actually working on a project with a quick service restaurant chain that we work with, and they had an old reporting tool that was a very detailed, very extensive, very eye-straining crosstab, right? Like crap ton of metrics. It actually had 7 metrics, and then each of those 7 metrics was ranked. So all the different locations of this fast food or quick service chain, the locations were ranked based on the metrics. So you might be 3rd in sales, but you might be 8th in transaction count, or you might be 20th in service. They have like order accuracy. So 14 metrics in all, guys. 14. 1-4. They had already taken a stab at developing this as a dashboard, and they failed, and they were blocked because one, the calculations they needed were too complex. Everything had to be an average so that you couldn't see what an actual restaurant number was on a day-to-day basis. You had to have date filters so that less than 6 dates would disappear. You had to have at least 6 days in there. So anywho, I had a few basic questions that we asked during each stage of our process. So what you're seeing right now on the slide is our UCDD dashboard development class focuses on how we can move through dashboard development with understanding, define, develop, refine, and launch. And then there's an iterative step that goes back when you're in refine and develop, and you're kind of doing that over and over until you get it right. And then even then, after you launch it, you might go all the way back to understand. So these are some specific questions we like to ask. And I asked, well, hey, what's the pain point on the audience side? Like, who uses this dashboard the most, or this report that we're turning into a dashboard? And it was the operators of the restaurants. So the people who are running the restaurant every day, trying to look at their data. And they said, well, they really can't see their ranking quickly. And that's all they care about. They want to know if they're ranked 400th in the state, 1st in the state, or if they're down there in the 2000s. And then what they really want to do is see who's ranked right above them so they can reach out to that operator and say, well, what are you doing differently? And we want to be able to filter. So if you're in like Orange County and you're a part of this restaurant, you could say, well, I want to see all the restaurants in Orange County and I want to see how we rank together. And then I want to reach out to those operators. So them answering that one question, who's the end user and what is their pain point, made us completely redesign this dashboard. Now, instead of having this huge crosstab, it's really 6 little cards that when you open the dashboard, you see the metric, but then it says rank, 1,086 out of total restaurants, and you see it as big numbers. And then down at the bottom, there's a bar chart where you can see the 10 ranked above you and the 5 ranked below you. That's all they needed. All the other stuff was noise. So asking those questions, one, helped with the redesign. It helped privilege the rank as the main part of this dashboard. The data is not, the values are important, but they're not as important as the rank. And it got them thinking like, well, what else is helpful to our operators? And some of it is them looking at something on a tablet because they're walking around a restaurant trying to look at their data while they're running the restaurant. So that's my little plug too for the work offer. If this is something you're interested in, you can click on the link and learn more. This is really, and this is not just for dashboard developers. I know Chris said he was a director of IT. It's really for everyone involved in this stage. It's a very interactive class. We actually get out pencils and paper and sketch in the middle of the class. It's a lot of fun. So a couple actionable questions. Some of you probably are familiar with some of these. What are pain points? How frequently do you need these metrics? What's working well here in the design, interactivity, or chart types? And the last one I think is overlooked a lot, but I think is still really important in this process is what's your plan for implementing? So implementation can be just as important as development because it's, well, how are you going to teach people how to use it? When do you stop using the old report? What's the system for people giving you feedback? Does there need to be a training on it? Does there need to be multiple ways to train people? The restaurant chain I'm working with at the moment does this really well. Exhaustive to a point where they have videos that pop up in the dashboard to show you. They use our tool curator, so you can have notes that pop up. You can have tutorials that pop up. And they do a kickoff every time they release something new. So very helpful. So quick takeaway here, the more questions you ask, the more you simplify your work. If I had tried to rebuild that crosstab data rank thing, it would have been a nightmare. But the fact that I kept asking the questions, I'm like, cool, now I have a way forward. I don't have as much work to do. I still have a lot of work to do, but you get the idea. All right, final cues. So I forgot to change the slide, but we were going to play guess too. Now we played 20 questions, but similar idea. As a former educator, I always look back on things I did or things my kids did and say, well, what did we really learn? And any game where we're asking questions, we're learning like deductive reasoning, right? So how did I go from taking, and even 20 questions, wide range of people. We asked, are you male or female? That narrows it down a lot when it comes to superheroes. If you say female, right? There's only a handful. Then we ask about more specific. We're also building inferences. And we're making connections between our experiences and the new information given to us. So we do the same thing when we're consulting in data, right? We're asking questions to get to the heart of the matter, to a solution, to develop something people use. So how do you get better at this? Honestly, I can tell you it is progress, not perfection. You attended today's TUG, so you're continuing your education. You're probably reading blogs. I would very much encourage you to attend Tableau conference. It's a lot of fun. You'll never be around so many nerds with so much energy about data. It's wicked fun. Collect resources. So I actually have a resource to share also with Alison and Gemma. I'll pass it along. Like a one-pager kind of on the topics that I've talked about and some sample questions. And then the main part too is practicing and documenting what works and what doesn't. So during my first couple years teaching, I had a mentor who would say to me, like, have a couple tricks in your back pocket. And what she meant by that for me as a teacher was like, hey, have a couple things ready to go that work for discipline, that work for time management, organization, even asking questions to my students. I'm a cyclist. I have the Silver Comet here in Georgia that goes from here to Alabama. And so having things in my back pocket are the essentials, right? Like, what food do I need for a long ride? What my, extra pair of earbuds, snacks, headset, whatever it is. Not headset, sunglasses. But just like I had to find the right gels and snacks for long rides, you have to find the right techniques that work for you. So having them in your back pocket means you have to do three things. You have to collect them, you have to critique them, and then you have to combine them. So thinking about how to collect good questions, it might mean you're taking copious notes every meeting you have, and then going, what worked, what didn't. Critiquing them, taking time to do a self-critique of your own practices, and then combining what works. I used to use this as a trainer at Tableau. I had to watch other people teach Tableau, and I would like write down questions that kind of really seemed to get the classroom going or get people talking. And at first I just repeated them, and then I kind of found ones that fit my personality a little better, and things became my staple questions. And then some I dropped as the curriculum dropped and changed. So my recommendation to you is create time after any question session with your clients. Even if it's like a little 5 minutes, keep a running document. Like, it can be just a notes on your page. It could be sticky notes on your desk. What worked? What should be on your do not ask list? And then ask yourself some pointed reflection questions, like, when did they seem stumped? When did I have to probe deeper? What did they get excited about while I was talking, right? What got them energized, or what made them like, feel, that she's bringing this up again. So collecting the how part of the questions too. So is this good to ask in person? Is this good to follow up with an email? Giving them time to think about their answer is always good. And then the dirty little secret. There's always good dirty little secret takeaways of presentations. So when I was pursuing a PhD, the dirty little secret of higher ed was that no one really teaches you how to teach when you get to that level. I knew how to teach when I was a younger teacher, but higher ed, they can't teach you how to teach. Dirty little secret about asking questions is that sometimes the best questions are not questions at all. There are things like, tell me more, elaborate on this, help me understand. Or if somebody says something that kind of is a little off, or maybe just a little too harsh critique, or maybe a little too digging, you say, well, you said this for a reason. I'd like to know why. It's a nice way to like flip it around and make it not so in your face hard. And if you're the quiet one in the room, I know a lot of people who are in data, introverts, or people who like to listen and really process before they say anything. I'm married to one of those people. So even if you're focused on listening, you can still get good at asking questions, because you're going to take time to let that person respond. And you can always ask these not question questions. So you can always say, hey, tell me more. Let them keep talking until they get to where they need to be. So there's our llama, the last secret llama thing. Questions may not be questions at all. Get good at listening. So thank you so much for having me today. I know I'm like 1 minute over and you guys wanted to do one more thing. So I'm going to pass it back over to Alison and Gemma. But if you want to know more about Interworks, feel free to our website. Feel free to email me. If you're interested in any of our trainings or blogs or our services, we're a small consulting company. We work with companies of all different sizes. So happy to hear from you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karinna. but okay, it's fine. Yeah, so we're just at 6:00. So our program was going to last till 6. If you would like to stick around, you are more than welcome to stick around, and we can look at vizzes and so forth. But if you also need to take off, then that's fine too. We should go and validate them.
Yes.
Do you want to go do that? And I will
Yes.
talk about the Viz challenge for anybody that's still left.
Yes.
Okay.
Validation. You are all
Thank you
wonderful.
for arranging that.
Oh yeah, I'm glad
Yeah,
you enjoyed
loved
it. Yeah.
I did so much.
And again, a big thank you again to Karinna for being with us today. That was a great presentation. I loved seeing it the rest of the way fleshed out. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and Karinna, one of my favorite things to get people to elaborate is that I do the mirroring effect. So they'll say something and I'll kind of just like slightly repeat it to them, and then elaborating, and then it's like I'm not talking, I'm just mirroring them the whole time, and they just go on and on and on for the hour. And at the end, I'm like, all right, well, that's great. I'm glad that you got to tell me that. They're like, well, do you have any questions? I'm like, no, I got it covered.
Yeah, I did that too. I'm a fan of the like stop talking. So you put a question out there that's really basic and like less detail, and then just be like, so what do you think about this feature? And then just refuse to talk.
Yeah, let the space linger into uncomfortable.
Because people will naturally fill the space, and you can get some really really good candor going. So
yeah, I love that one. That one's a good one.
Anyway. Okay. Thank you very much, Karinna. Do you want to stick around? Because it looks Laura is like, I want to see the visits.
Yeah, I'd be happy. I'd love to see them too. I was actually making notes at your parameter ththing because I have some use cases that I might be able to apply that for.
And I did figure it out. The problem with that one was that because if you've ever done the thing where something goes wrong in one of your calculations and then one of your pills turns red and you have to drag the pill back over to make it work again. That was the problem. Anyway, it's all fixed now, so you can go and play around with that. Sorry, I know that here. We've got two computers going on at the same time. So last time we said we wanted to see some people do some visits around so anything to do with Orange County. So I'm hoping that somebody has done it or is inspired to do it for next time, because I think one of the best things that you can do is viz what you know, viz what you love. And so we, both Gemma and I have done a couple visits that have to do with Orange County. So I will go ahead and I'll share mine. And if anybody is still listening in the chat who has done one and wants to share, I can set you up as a presenter and you can share too. Let me see what I can do here.
I think you just came up with the next Tableau t-shirt
What's
idea. Viz what you know, viz what you love. Like they should just have a t-shirt that says that, man.
Yeah, they should. Right. So, okay. So anybody who follows me on LinkedIn, I did share an older version of this. This was originally I did a very basic viz a few years ago just as a personal project because again I wanted to viz something that was local to me, so I took that one and I upgraded it with a little the old bump chart there, and it's basically looking at Orange County budget appropriations. So for those of you who don't know how Orange County budgets work, and you should because you live here, there's a certain amount of the budget that's fixed and there's a certain amount of the budget that is set as discretionary, and it's set and approved by the Board of Supervisors. So if you don't already vote for Board of Supervisors and you don't know who your supervisor is, go find out because it's really important. There's a whole big chunk of money that the Board of Supervisors allocates. Anyway, at the end of every year, at the end of every budget process year, they put out a big PDF file that talks about all of the revenue and all of the appropriations that are coming for the next year. And then, of course, there's a whole process where they sum up the year. But I wanted specifically to look at appropriations, and you can see how that changes over time. Feel free, by the way, if you want to download this, you can steal my data set. All it is literally is the budget year, the categories, and the appropriation amount. This was particularly off the back of like 2020 when I was wanting to understand how our local governments used funding for public protection in particular, especially as it compared to community services. So, but you can see from this viz that like Orange County consistently per person spends most on community services and has done for the last like 8 years. I think this goes back to. This year was the first year in recent history, by Martha, that public protection has actually slipped to third behind infrastructure and environmental resources. If you live here in Orange County, you also know that they're spending a lot of money and time on making sure that we're all like environmentally sustainable, blah, 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 whatever. So yeah, you can explore this. It goes, you know, you can tab through the years and it changes. And I was very proud of this actually. I think it's so cool. Like they're kind of an eyesore. I did this in about an hour the other night. But the data is all updated, which is the thing that I wanted to do because, you know, being aware of, you know, what we're spending in our county is really important. And, you know, the fact that the average person, because there's 3.2 million residents and the budget this year was $9.3 billion. Every single one of us that lives in Orange County, the county spends about just shy of $3,000 a year on me.
Do you feel
on
it?
my services? I do actually. There's a lot that I really love about Orange County. So anyway, that's me. I tried to find yours, but I couldn't find it.
Is it hidden?
I think it's hidden.
Ooh.
So
Okay. Can I try to log in here?
Sure. Let me stop sharing and then you can sign out and then we'll try that.
That's what I just do incognito. I can see that.
Oh, it's gonna sign in automatically, isn't it? Nope. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody else do one of these, by the way? No. We gotta get people on board this hashtag OC Viz challenge business. There's so much good stuff going on in Orange County.
This is me.
We actually have prizes, Karinna, for people here in person, but the people will never. So Gemma and I are gonna have to take them all. We do actually. We have swag to give away. So make sure you come in person.
Okay. Let's
So you go to share screen.
share screen.
And you can use the mouse too.
A mouse.
And then
So cool.
that, and then share.
Hey everybody. So I think
It's gonna take a second. We have some out of towners, so you have to explain what Oogie Boogie Bash is.
Hey everybody. So I live in Orange County and I love Disneyland. So one thing that they do every year is they have this like Halloween party where everyone can wear costumes because usually that's not like a thing you can do.
Yeah.
You can trick or treat, you meet villains, it's a whole thing. So this year, I just wanted to talk about it because it's a very exclusive party. It's really not. Anyway, I counted up all the candy that I trick or treated, and I got 132 of them. There were 7 villains out. I just wanted to talk about my experience. So this is like part data, but also part scrapbook. Just from what I got, and I counted everything, it seems like a majority of it was chocolate, and then there were some healthy snacks thrown in, like apple slices and carrots. Yes. So that's kind of the breakdown of what was going on. I put snacks as like the chips because I surprisingly liked all the chips, and I liked the healthy things. It was a great deal. So when I was counting it out, I kind of had the dilemma of like, do I report based on like the number of little packages I got? Do I report on the grams that I got? So I kind of put a parameter in here so that you can change it around. You can see like no matter what you select, I got like mostly these fudge brownie M&Ms. I don't feel great about them, so they're also part of our little special gift packages that
So everyone who comes to the tug gets fudge brownie M&Ms because Gemma decided they're the
I would have
worst.
flown out there for that.
Really? Do you want the rest of my? They gave full-sized ones of these. Anyway,
Wow.
they were very generous with the fudge brownie M&Ms, particularly. And
Wait, is that 549 grams, not packages? Okay.
Yeah.
So your parameter. I was like, dang,
I got
20.
fun-size packages, 5 full-size packages. There are so many.
Amazing.
And if you
Oh, so that messed up with your gram count. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
well, you see a picture, I lined
That's
it up.
amazing.
It's missing the healthy snacks because I ate those like immediately, and like 1 bag of Sun Chips. I didn't make a note of that anywhere, but
I think I would have gone for the Rice Krispie treats. Those are my fave.
yes, those were also gone. Mostly what I have left now is like these M&Ms. If you're thinking about grams, the most grams per package were actually the healthy snacks that I ate immediately and aren't in this picture, the apple slices and baby carrots, mostly because they just cram a lot of apple slices have a lot of volume.
Yeah.
So there's that. I love bar charts and also candy bars, so I made some candy bar charts about it.
My favorite.
I've ranked these. I just used Oogie Boogie colors, but the darker green indicates like how much I like it. So I really like things with crunch and texture, like Snickers and Twix, and then like it just slowly dies off. Luckily, those were also the things that I got the most of, so I got to enjoy most of that. Also, for the candy bar charts are these like left Twix and right Twix bars. It amuses me that they do this separation of bars because they can't live together. And I just wanted to show that through some miracle of the universe, I got the same number of left and right bars and the same like sizes, so they all match. And I feel like I'm aligned.
Ideal. Yeah.
I would feel really unbalanced. Anyway, so all the green text was me talking at you, which you can read later, but this purple text is supposedly you talking at me, which is, hey, Gemma, I love candy and all, but I just want to see some pictures. So here's me in my costume.
Yay.
I dress as Woody, and I dress my cat up as a little green man. It's my friend being the little ear. And then we went on the Guardians of the Galaxy After Dark ride, which was crazy. And there's another Woody and Buzz Lightyear here, so part scrapbook, part dataviz.
Nice.
That's everything.
Awesome.
Cool.
I'm near the, I live like, we can get to Orlando in about 6 hours. So I've been to Disney World a lot, but
Nice.
not Disneyland ever.
You should take the trip out.
Disneyland.
I
It's
know.
work and it's wonderful. So
I may have to hit it up you said Tableau Conference is in San Diego. It's not that far, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
They should have just had it in Anaheim.
Oh, yeah. Then we could go sweet. We're
Yeah.
going to take you to Disneyland.
Yeah.
If you come, let's go.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
the date. I'll do it.
Alrighty. Did I go back?
Why don't you stop sharing? Because I want to, there's a couple here. Right here. There's a couple things that I want to make sure that we mention. Hi. What? Here, I took your chair. This is a fun game of musical chairs. I just have a couple of things that I want to mention before we close out for today. Where's my little doohickey? Right. Okay. A couple of things that we want to make sure everybody does not forget to remember. So if you haven't already, be sure to sign up for the user group on usergroups.tableau.com. That's where we send out notices of our next meeting, which is probably going to be in February or January. We haven't set a date yet. So if you want to make sure not to miss it, because that'll be then. Make sure you add us to your safe senders list. Sometimes those notices will get caught in your mail, in your junk mail, which we don't want. And make sure you don't unsubscribe. If you feel like we're sending out too many, please let us know. But it's really very infrequent. Don't forget to do an OC Tug Viz challenge. It doesn't have to be complicated, but we want everybody here to be working on stuff that is local to us, because we're the Orange County TUG, and it's important that we kind of stay grounded in Orange County. And then, of course, a call to presenters. If you have a tip or a trick that you would like to present, if you would like to speak, please let us know. There's no topic too big or too small, and we want it to be like interactive, because you guys are going to get really bored of like me talking all the time. So yeah, reach out to us. The contact information is on the event page and the TUG chapter page, or whatever it's called. And we'd love to hear from you. That is it. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending today, and we hope to see you next week.